edition of Enter the Chronic's Rabbit Hole, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kyle, aka Chronic, and I am very excited to check out this documentary of Park Jimin, and this is Surpassing Human Limits in the Realm of Effort. I'm very excited to check this one out because the Jimin effect was real with this one, but I also want to know the true story behind this angel of a person with his talent. And it already looks like he might like some sports too. And as a sports lover myself, that's pretty awesome. Let's check out the story behind Jimin from BTS. The coolest thing about BTS is how successful every band member is in their solo work. And that's why I think it's so important to dive into their actual history outside of just like, say, a band documentary and actually go through every single member, starting with Jimin and seeing exactly what makes them unique, what makes them special, what makes them talented, all the various things. And I'm really excited that you all are here for this journey because you all have been so supportive on Patreon, on YouTube here, guiding us on which way to pick. So this one is outside of, say, requests. This is just for fun for me to get even closer with all of you in the knowledge of who Jimin really is. And what an awesome thing to start with some sports references here too. So let's see exactly what he is involved with outside of sports as well. This is Jimin's story, surpassing human limits in the realm of effort. Here we go.
Jimin, who had been involved in various sports including Taekwondo since childhood, learned Kendo for about 7 years with a determination to become the world's greatest swordsman, inspired by the character Zoro from the anime One Piece.
Amazing. I love Dragon Ball Z as my favorite anime. I'm not big into all the other animes. My family love anime, and I'm pretty sure they love One Piece as well. So I'll have to bring up Zoro for them too. And obviously, you know, Zoro is the sword-wielding guy from the movies as well too. So that's pretty cool.
And one day, Jimin, who didn't initially realize he was good at dancing, began to learn dance thanks to his friends. After coming across a breakdancing lecture during after-school activities, he and his friends decided to learn, thinking, hey, if we master this, we'll become popular, so let's do it. However, unlike his friends, Jimin's passion for dance grew as he learned more. He began taking more lessons and often said, when I dance, I don't think of anything. I feel so free and happy. Demonstrating his...
See, that is true talent. So dancing is definitely something he was born with, because if you just get brought into something from your friends and you're brought into an environment that then you succeed in, that's natural talent. And that is exactly what he has. That's why he feels so free out here. And there is something freeing about being able to do something with not much effort.
His immense passion for dance,
he does have the passion though to get even better.
And he swept numerous awards in dance competitions.
Winning awards already.
One day, after watching a performance by the singer Rain, Jimin thought, I want to stand on such a grand stage, and decided to become a singer. So at the age of 15, having made a life-changing decision, Jimin told his father, Dad, I'm going to be a singer. Please trust me.
At 15.
춤을 배우기 시작했죠. 춤을 배우다가 작은 무대부터 시작해서 무대를 계속 서다가
You need to be able to sing and dance if you want bigger stages. You got to become a triple threat. And I wonder what third year of middle school means for them age-wise, because for me, third year of middle school would be grade 8, and I believe that would have been, if I was 9, I think 14 for me. So maybe that's pretty similar to them too here, if they're saying 15 is when he started singing.
해보고 싶다, 해야겠다라는 생각을 하면서 가수를 하겠다는 중대한 결정을 내렸던 것 같습니다.
Meanwhile,
wow.
Jimin, who mainly focused on street dance, had a lot of concerns at the time because there was no high school in Busan where he could major in practical dance. Then, he was introduced to the idea of trying contemporary dance, which was the closest to street dance.
Okay.
So he began learning
That's true, contemporary is closest to street.
He was accepted as the top student at Busan Arts High School. Before entering the arts high school, Jimin said he had been quite stiff, so after his admission was confirmed, he stretched so intensely to improve his flexibility that he even burst a blood vessel.
그래서 목숨 걸고 했었죠. 제가 너무 뻣뻣해서
진짜
I definitely gotta
다리
flex
이렇게
more.
벽에 대고 벌려놓고 자고 아침에 일어나면 이게 이렇게 내려와 있어요.
어.
근데 못 접어요. 이게 벌어져 버렸잖아요.
그럴
자주.
수가
Wow,
있었구나.
that's dedication.
남이 접어주고 막 이랬어요.
Even while sleeping, Jimin worked on his weaknesses, and with his exceptional dance skills
That's
that led to top
insane.
recognition at Busan High School of
Exactly. If you're working on your weaknesses while you're sleeping, oh my lord. That is a whole different dedication. And you see in these documentaries that we've already seen and that y'all have seen his dedication and working in the late nights, also for his admiration for all of his other BTS members that are putting in the work too. So it's cool to see what type of work he was putting into these hours.
Arts, he continued to stand out throughout his high school journey. Unlike other students who focused solely on their majors, Jimin gave his best in all subjects. So he solidified his foundation in contemporary dance, ballet, and many other disciplines,
Nice.
further enhancing his already renowned dance skills. Then one day, as Jimin yearned for bigger stages, his dance teacher recommended the Big Hit audition, which marked
Wow.
the beginning of his journey with Big Hit Entertainment.
Incredible.
He
Look at
passed the Big
that.
Hit
Body
Busan
and
public
chiseled.
audition, overcoming
Woo!
odds of 1,000 to 1, and prepared for life as a trainee in Seoul. Of course, upon hearing Jimin's ambition to become an idol, his homeroom teacher, believing his talent was too precious for that path, tried to dissuade him.
Right.
However, Jimin responded, "Teacher, since I was born as a man and I've passed the audition anyway, I want to become the best singer." However, contrary to his aspirations, his trainee life in Seoul was incredibly challenging. Though he had danced extensively from a young age and was often praised as a prodigy, the
Yeah.
dance style of contemporary dance he practiced and hip-hop idol choreography were vastly different. Yet, all he could do was practice. So Jimin practiced to the point of sleeping only 3 hours a day. To practice even just one more time, he would go
Wow.
to the practice room on his days off to rest, and when that wasn't enough, he even slept in the practice room on a mat.
Now that's dedication. Jeez.
항상 나 이러고 있어도 되냐는 생각이 항상 너무 많이 들었어서 집에 있기 되게 싫어했거든요. 잠도 항상 늦게 자고 일부러 그래서 쉴 때도 그냥 연습실 가서 쉬고 그랬거든요. 거기서 쉬면 한 번이라도 그냥 더 하지 않을까라는 생각에
Just
있었는데
one more
However,
practice.
despite practicing so hard,
Wow.
Jimin's dance skills did not seem to improve easily. In fact, during his trainee days, he almost got cut about 8 times, and yet to the very
Damn,
end,
that's some
he was
pressure.
whether he would remain in the group or not.
저는 연습생 생활을 정말 짧게 했는데 한 8번 정도 짧을 뻔했죠. 저는 이제 달마다 가서 이번에는 진짜로 위험했다고 저는 매달 그 소리 들었었어.
Unlike the members who had been practicing at the company for a long time, Jimin joined as a trainee much later, which added to his pressure and burden. Having given up everything he had built up to move to Seoul, the uncertainty of not knowing when he might be cut also made him anxious.
부산에서 올라오다 보니까 이제 집도 없고 해서 숙소에 들어가게 됐는데 언제 이게 이 곳에서 내가 나가야 될지도 모른다는 생각이 굉장히 불편하고 힘들었었던 것 같아요.
Given the
He
circumstances,
lived, breathed, and ate that life up. He truly wanted to become one of the best singers in the world. To see where he's at now is really inspirational because when you go all in something, you really can achieve. Like, he has talent, but it's also his willpower. And really, it's admirable because, like you said, he had the least amount of training time to get into BTS as well with Big Hit. So all that work he did before that moment really paid off. Because imagine if he didn't put in all that extra work of only sleeping for 3 hours a night and then almost getting cut 8 times with still putting in that amount of work. That's a lot of stress, but also good for him to fight through that because a lot of weaker people mentally and physically would have given up there because he's both top notch in his physical, mental, and spiritual. You could tell because he's so grounded and knows exactly what he's going for and what he stands for. And that's powerful.
Jimin once sadly told his father, "If I don't debut, please don't be disappointed. Even if I get dropped here, I will make it somehow, so please don't be too disappointed."
Oh, yeah,
Then
the
one
pressure.
day, after tirelessly practicing in this state of anxiety, Jimin heard the news that BTS would debut. And on the day it was decided that BTS would debut, surprisingly, Jimin learned that he would debut as the last member of BTS.
Oh,
It was the moment when the
wow.
last piece of the BTS puzzle was put in place.
처음 로고를 찍는데 어떤 말을 해야 될지 되게 고민을 많이 하고 왔다. 공개된 만큼 더 열심히 해야 될 것 같다.
Although he was overjoyed by
Had
the
to practice
unexpected
even
news of the
harder.
debut, he
Oh
had
my
many worries
God.
too. Having joined the team last, Jimin viewed himself as the weak point. This insecurity led him to feel extremely anxious even after his debut was decided, causing him to stay in the practice room practicing.
God, he just lived there.
지민이 형 같은 경우에는 정말 노력을 많이 했단 말이죠. 연습생들부터 진짜. 솔직히 모든 연습생 이때까지 거쳐간 연습생들 중에 아마 제일 열심히 했을 거예요, 진짜.
Probably worked the hardest out of all of them,
their diligently prepared debut album,
That's
BTS
incredible. Why this really resonates with someone like me, I'm someone who trains insanely hard in things I am really passionate for. Just like Jimin saying, insanely passionate here. So it's the practice that you put in. I remember I played soccer and basketball throughout my whole life since I was 3. But in high school, you kind of have to start mastering something. So in grade 9, I did both. Soccer and basketball, but in grade 10 I finally decided to pick one or the other. I did soccer, but then I actually broke my leg that year. Then grade 11 went all in with soccer again. But then I wanted to go back to basketball, but because it's been 2 years now at this point, broken a leg and hadn't played for that 3 years almost at this point, I went insane in the summer and practiced probably 12 to 15 hours a day with sleeping about 5 hours a night. So he went even more incredible to make it to a BTS. But because of what I did, and even just that small time, that our summer is about 2.5 months, ended up getting a record that still stands in the place where I scored 48 points in the game. So it's crazy what you can do if you're willing to sacrifice even your sleep in temporary moments. Jimin went all in here because the ability to get with BTS to make the official debut as the last missing piece, I think that's just wow. All that hard work, like he just said, I don't even know what to say, but the first thing he knew what to say is, I'm even going to work harder. That just shows his mentality, and all their mentality really comes through.
Their official debut.
안녕하세요, 지민입니다. 팀에서 춤과 보컬을 맡고 있습니다.
However, even though they were a rookie group, they had no worries because they had a secret weapon that captivated the audience.
Secret weapon?
시청자분들한테
Secret move?
특별한
It's called Jimin!
하나 있나요? 뭐 각인시킬 수 있는 무대에서 각인시키는 표정이나 뭐 하는가.
RM looks so great.
저희들의 포인트 안무죠. 지민 군의 복근을
Where Jimin reveals his abs.
네. 보여줄까요? 보여줄까요? 네, 저희 색깔입니다. 네.
Oh my god, he's got to show off his abs. Wow. Oh my god. No more dream.
And after debuting,
Oh,
Jimin's
God.
skills were far inferior to the vocals of other team
I think everyone wishes we could either have those abs or touch those abs.
singers. Since he had never sung properly before becoming a trainee, it was only natural that his vocal skills were lacking. However, after
Right.
debuting, he made a mistake during a live stage performance and told Suga, "Hyung, I couldn't do the live. I can't sing," and sat down in front of the bathroom crying.
Rough.
With this, Jimin was very strict with himself and blamed himself a lot since his debut. And 4
So
months
hard
after
on
their
himself,
debut,
eh?
at the first fan meeting with ARMYs, Jimin cried while reading a letter.
안녕하세요, 아미 여러분. 팀에서 매력을 담당하고 있는 지민입니다.
In charge of charm.
여러분은 모르시겠지만 연습생 때는 정말로 데뷔를 할 수 있을지도 몰랐습니다. 비록 연습 기간은 멤버들 중에서 1년이라는 가장 짧은 시간이었지만
Hides the face. Oh.
정말로 울기도 하고 지치기도 하면서 포기하고 싶다는 생각을 많이 했었습니다. 그런데 이렇게 데뷔라는 것을 해서 이렇게 여러분 앞에 서서 노래를 부르고 춤을 추고 표정을 짓고 멋을 부리는 것이 너무 재밌고 신기하고 즐겁고 꿈만 같습니다. 앞으로
It is a
나날이
dream.
지날수록 더 성장하고 멋있는 모습 여러분께 보여드리고 싶습니다. 아미 여러분 언제나 저희 옆에 성장하는 모습을 지켜봐 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 이렇게 저와 저희 방탄을 사랑해 주시고 응원해 주시는 아미 누구보다 사랑합니다. 감사합니다. 방탄 사랑합니다.
However, contrary
Wow.
to Jimin's worry,
That was an incredible speech, and I love the support that you could see like immediately there from J-Hope and RM, just keeping him motivated and giving him just like that calming presence that we're here for you. You can get through this, and that is a hard speech because when you're that close and you think you're gonna lose it, it's even that much more good yet painful when you have it because it sometimes makes you feel like you have it, but then you almost could lose it because you just got it. And that's what's making Jimin so hard on himself, especially at the beginning here. That's why he's so like, hey, I screwed up live. I can't do this live at all. And just like totally scrutinizing himself too much. And I'm sure he matures pretty quick. And you're going to see the growth very quickly in him here.
BTS won the Rookie Award with their debut album
Wow.
of the year.
Right on.
Meanwhile,
Oh my
the low
God, they look
self-esteem that had
so
troubled him
young.
for a long time seemed not to have been overcome even after receiving the Rookie Award. As leader, while moving to the US for filming with the members, Jimin left a very sad remark.
우리 팀을 위해서라도 되게 조용히 살아야지. 그 뭐야? 조용히 살아야지.
Live quietly for your team. Standing up for being bad.
말고 살아야지. 그래서 빨리 늘어야지. 그래서 빨리 잘해야지. 그지? 넌 그게 많았지.
Yes, you often think that way.
After their debut, RM once explained how hard Jimin had been on himself.
사실 연습생 때 그리고 사실 데뷔 한참 했을 때만 해도 저와 굉장히 좀 비슷한 점이 많았던 거는 항상 자기 부족한 점에 대해서 스스로를 질책하고
Yeah.
본인이 어떻게 보면 막 못하다 나는 부족해
Jimin and RM hardest on
내가
themselves, do you
아닌
think,
것 같아,
y'all?
내가 나빠 항상 그런 생각을 많이 했었다고 해요. 그래서
However, even during these tough times, Jimin did not stop practicing. While preparing for their first regular album, he practiced choreography for up to 16 hours a day with the members.
16 hours a day. Oh my
As a result of this
lord.
hard work, with their first full album, BTS presented another masterpiece.
Hey,
And
what
among
was
them
their
is hard
first
work
full album
15
called?
hours a day with the members, showing tremendous effort. As a result of this hard work, with their first
Dark and Wild. That was their first full album. Very cool.
full album, BTS presented another masterpiece. And among them, in the title track Danger, Jimin created the killing point of the song. Afterwards, BTS took to the Mama stage, the dream stage for singers, to present Boy in Love for the first time.
Ooh, Boy in Love's from that. Oh, that sounds
True to
good.
Jimin's nature of thinking about the fans' army more than anyone else since his debut, he presented a song called Christmas Day as a Christmas gift at the end of the year,
Oh,
which
wow.
he made together with Jungkook.
Right on.
And then, they released the album The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1, which is said to have made BTS what they are today.
Really?
In the early days of BTS's activities, with powerful dances like Danger and War of Hormone, there wasn't much opportunity for Jimin to show his soft side. However,
Right.
Jimin, who majored in contemporary dance, knew best which parts of certain choreographies needed to be powerful or soft, and from this time,
God,
he
he's
started showing his
mesmerizing.
strengths little by little. The title song, I Need You. With his red-dyed hair attracting much attention, dope.
Oh.
Having prepared diligently, BTS won their first ever music show with I Need You, and a visibly surprised Jimin was seen getting teary.
아 어이가 없어가지고.
와, 나 진짜 나도 와. 야, 지민아 얘기 좀 해봐. 이때
Say something, Jimin.
아내 생일 파티 갔구나.
Feels like my birthday party.
아 진짜 생일 파티 같아. 아 몰래 카메라 같아요. 아.
와, 진짜 깜짝 놀랐어.
아 정말.
Wow.
And during the 2014
See, look at that. You worked hard. You really did. Oh, and now we got like a mid-split on Jimin here. Oh, gosh. Lose track what you're even trying to say when this happens. I'm not even kidding you. I actually lost track what I was trying to say when you stop it there. Let's move it back. Okay, now we got it here. We're okay. So you can see just how happy they are with the win here, and they're even looking at Jimin, who's visibly the most overwhelmed in the moment at least, and has the tears there, and they're all saying like, you worked really hard for this, man. And in a team sport, which BTS is a team sport, um, in any team sport, the weakest link is how good your team technically is. And I'm not even calling Jimin the weakest link, but if he is the weakest link, then that can still play mentally in your live performances and all that. So I'm thinking with all the hard work he put in, he got over that mental hump, and I bet he started even performing live better, which only transferred into their studio success, because if they're saying this was the album that got them really going, and then you can start seeing Jimin being the spotlight, especially with that red hair there too. All these songs sound good too, by the way. There's so many good songs to go check out with them from start to finish, and I'm really liking this documentary so far. To see who this is, it's everything about Korean. So very good documentary. Here we go.
아 좋네.
진짜 보냈다.
And during the 2014 Mama performance, Jimin stole the show with a dance move where he ripped his shirt, receiving massive cheers and creating a legendary stage.
Exactly.
Immediately after that performance, BTS
And
announced the
and honestly, did he mean to rip it to where it stopped right at the end? Not quite. So then it stayed around his body like a cape. Like if that wasn't planned, then that's just how perfect he is.
creating a legendary stage. Immediately after that performance, BTS announced The Most Beautiful Moment Part 2, and upon their comeback, their title track run topped the music charts, marking a successful start. And on the last day of 2015, Jimin's popularity skyrocketed. During the 2015 K-pop Music Festival, their impeccable cover of the first-generation idol group Shinhwa's Perfect Man highlighted Jimin's dancing skills, which garnered significant attention. In fact, a fan cam of Jimin posted 7 years ago has been viewed so much that its current view count is approaching 15 million.
Wow.
At that time,
I wonder where's that
many posts were
now.
made on various communities by people who weren't even fans of BTS asking, "Who is the guy with the orange hair?" making the Perfect Man performance another legendary moment for Jimin. Meanwhile, as they entered their third year since
You gotta have
debut,
legendary
everything seemed
moments,
naturally
right?
stable. But in reality, Jimin, who seemed to have been going through a tough time, subtly revealed his anxious heart while making a wish for the new year.
맨날 웃었으면 좋겠다.
Wish I could always smile.
이렇게 슬프게 안 웃었으면 좋겠어.
Wouldn't laugh in sadness.
진짜 웃는 일만 가득했으면 좋겠고.
And 3 months after this, he revealed just how challenging that time had
Wow.
been for him.
요즘 좀 힘들었던 게 잘 안 돼. 하는 것만큼 잘 안 돼. 뭐 어쩌긴
Sorry.
좀
Lately
힘들었던
things have
게
been tough. It's
잘
not
안
going
돼.
well.
하는 것만큼 잘 안 돼.
Not as successful in the effort.
어쩌겠는가 해야지. 그래 좀 힘들었던 건 사실인 것 같다. 좀 힘들었지. 잘 안 돼. 해야지. 나중엔 더 좋은 노래를 부르고 정말 그 사람들이 생각하는 제 감동을 받을 수 있는 그런 노래, 마음을 움직이는 노래 같은 걸 나도 하고 싶어서 주구장창 연습하고 있고.
Want to create songs that touch the heart.
뭐랄까 주어진 상황 때문에 힘들지 않고 내가 하고 싶은 게 안 되니까 좀 힘든 게 있는 것
What
같아요.
he wants to do isn't working
However,
out.
despite
Man, he
his
is so
concerns, the release
self-critical.
of the Young Forever album,
But what's so cool about Jimin and everyone from BTS is even through all these struggles, a lot of people then would not be doing their reps and getting their practice in and still putting stuff out during their turmoil mentally. That's something that Jimin never stops, as you can see here, and even doing those vlogs and talking to his fans so that he can still have that connection going. That's big because a lot of times when you can get in your head, you can get self-isolated. So it's great that even in the midst of times when he wishes he could smile, he is still trying to connect with people.
Jimin's scene at 3 minutes 33 seconds in the Fire music video became a highlight, earning him the nickname 333 Jimin.
Yeah, that
Since its early days,
That move is
iconic.
iconic. I remember when I first saw
To
that.
shine, showcasing a dance style uniquely Jimin's that could only be described as beautiful, and this can be seen in the song Butterfly. Consecutively,
I love
just 3
contemporary.
years after their debut, BTS performed at their dream venue, the Olympic Gymnastics Arena, and Jimin, having finally realized that long-held dream, shed many tears expressing his gratitude towards the members.
우리 멤버들한테 제일 감사한 것 같아요.
Wow. Giving love to his brothers now, his members. What a soul this guy is.
부족한 거 많고 되게 보잘 것 없고 되게 아무것도 없는 저였는데 우리 멤버들이 저 도와주고 이끌어주고 해서 되게 여기까지 올 수 있었고 우리 멤버들 덕분에 정말 행복이란 걸 느끼는 것
He
같습니다.
truly feels happiness
Later,
now.
with the second full album Wings, Jimin returned and created another highlight in Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Producer Bang Si-hyuk told the members to sing the song as erotically as possible. There's an
Erotically.
anecdote that Jimin received a lot of praise for taking it the best. The introduction of a song being
Wow.
crucial enough to determine its success or failure.
Now that's part of the
saw Jimin's
Jimin effect
delicate
right
vocals
there.
and acting abilities play a significant role in the success of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. However, Jimin's efforts weren't limited to this. During the practice for Blood, Sweat, and Tears, he suddenly felt the desire to become more handsome and give off a vibe that suits the song. As a result, he went on an extreme diet, eating only one meal a day for 10 days and losing 7 kilograms.
Wow.
Meanwhile, in the Wings album, he
Get
released
more
his
handsome?
first solo track, Lie. The lyrics of Lie were Jimin's first attempt to convey his inner feelings. However, at the time, he was hesitant about working on the song because
Wow.
it felt like he was exposing the darkness within himself too directly in his first solo track.
Lie. Wow.
In Lie, Jimin took on the role of a lyricist for the first time, and the pressure was immense. The process of writing and erasing lyrics was repetitive. Even after starting the recording, he wasn't satisfied with the results, leading him to restart the recording multiple times, causing him a lot of stress.
Oh.
Yet, Lie incorporated elements of modern dance he excels in, presenting a style distinct from previous BTS performances.
Oh.
Upon its release, people were enthralled by Jimin's debut solo Lie. However, he didn't feel the same. Even when staff praised his voice, he would blame himself, saying, "I hated those comments. Instead of saying you sing really well, they said, you have a good voice," which felt like they were trying to cover up my lack of singing skills. Even though they were giving compliments, I tended to take them negatively.
Jimin is so wise because I think a lot of people do overstep. When you're talking with someone who doesn't want to hear a lie that has such a high standard, they can sniff when people aren't saying the full truth, and that's all he's trying to say because as a perfectionist himself, he knows what he's capable of as well, and he's allowed to say that. He's allowed to be his own standard of what he thinks. So when he isn't reaching that and everyone else is telling him that, maybe there is some truth that he isn't singing at the best of his abilities, even if the people think it still sounds great, and maybe it is as good as it ever is going to be. But you hope over time people get better too, and I think that's all Jimin is saying. It's like, this is my first one. I can understand you're showing too much of your shadow self. If you're supposed to be the charm, I can understand not wanting to mix that too much, and just hoping you were a better singer because you wanted to be one of the best singers ever. So that's always going to feel like you're not reaching it because there's a lot of good singers out there, especially in your group.
Lack of singing skills. Even though they were giving compliments, I tended to take them negatively. In an interview following the Wings album, when asked if he felt he had grown compared to his debut, Jimin's response provided a clear insight into how he viewed himself at the time. "I still don't think I've grown much. When I see what I'm doing, I feel frustrated. I often thought, why can't I perform as well as I practice? Talent is essential, and perhaps I lack it. So I practiced even harder. Since I don't have talent, I thought I might as well do more."
Don't
He
have
was so
talent.
dissatisfied with his vocal skills that he even expressed a desire to halt BTS's schedule and take vocal lessons for 3 months to improve his abilities. Like this, Jimin has always been obsessed with practice, and even after achieving a certain level of success, he never slacked off. Yet, even amid his uncertainties, he never ceased to challenge himself in new areas. During their third fan meeting,
What
he
an
formed a unit
angel.
with Suga and tried rapping for the first time with the song Tony Montana. Based on his experience in pop from a young age, the dancing skills he learned back in high school, and his idol choreography skills that he honed after his debut, Jimin puts on a performance that is outstanding. It was not just the flawless performance he delivered at the 2016 Mama with a red blindfold on, but he also stunned many
Jeez.
by rotating 360 degrees mid-air and landing perfectly. Even
No
the professional
kidding.
critics, known for their strict evaluations, commented, "Watch Jimin dance. He's not human. Tears come to my eyes when I see it." After this, BTS received their first and second grand prizes consecutively at MMA and Mama since their debut.
Wow.
2 months after receiving their first grand prize, BTS released their next album. The track Spring
Never
Day was
Walk
much
Alone.
loved, and
Oh,
Jimin's
Spring
dance in
Day.
it once again
We
drew a lot
just-
of attention.
Oh my gosh. I need to
Creating
see
another
that
iconic
dance
segment, the song Not
practice.
Today earned him the nickname 424 Jimin, following his previous moniker 333 Jimin. BTS then embarked on the Wings tour.
Jimin has so many iconic moments, y'all. Like, I tell you, I always contrast athletes and performancers like singers and all that together because you're always known by us. Moments, legendary performances, and coming in the clutch. And when you're performing in these moments, busting a 360 with the blindfold on, landing perfectly, getting the full praise from the critics there, winning their first awards at the Mappas, I think they were called theirs. So it's really astonishing to see how hard this guy Jimin has been working, and then to see all these awards now starting to come in so quick. He's not ready for the success yet, even though he's still so humble and working so hard. So it just doesn't stop. And wow.
That spanned over 10 months. However, there was a hiccup during the tour in Chile. Jimin had throat issues just before the performance and unfortunately made a mistake on stage. Despite everyone trying to console him, he was deeply affected and shed tears.
Oh. Just two wrong notes. Wow. But when you have this standard, the stuff you're gonna put out.
별로 아무렇지 않게 생각할 수 있는 거지만 그거 하나가 너무 죄책감이 들고 그거 하나 때문에 너무 스트레스를 많이 받게 되는 것 같아요. 더군다나 그런데 이 목이 이렇게 안 좋아서 계속된 실수가 연속되면 너무나 힘든 것 같아요, 버티기가. 어쩔 수 없으니까 더 그런 것 같아요.
However, despite his worries, he made another mistake
Jeez,
during the
Jimin.
rehearsal for the Brazil concert.
You're so cool. Jimin's the
너무
coolest.
안 좋았어요. 너무 안 좋고 이렇게 안 좋은 생각을 하게 되면 한도
Jimin
끝없이 안 좋은
spirals with the
생각이
negative
자신감이
thoughts.
자꾸 떨어지게 되니까 걱정을 많이 하게 되니까 이 되게 다운이 됐을 때 이거에 저는 제일 예민한 것 같아서.
However, tragically, amid all this
Such a
stress, Jimin
sensitive
received
soul,
a
isn't
death
he?
threat. A netizen threaded on SNS, "I will kill Jimin when he sings Lie at the concert in the US,"
What?
posting the concert seating chart and a picture of a gun.
What the heck?
Fortunately, thanks to the active cooperation of Big Hit and local police, nothing happened. But the death threat during such a busy performance schedule was really
Wow.
tough for him.
No
However,
kidding.
even in the midst of all this, BTS showed no signs of stopping. It was at the 2017 Billboard Music Awards that they won the Top Social Artist Award. After winning the Billboard Music Awards, BTS continued their momentum by becoming the first Korean artist to have their names on both the Billboard Hot 100 and Billboard 200 charts with their mini fifth album and its title track DNA. The song Mic Drop, which received tremendous attention just like the title track DNA.
It's
Song
hella
sung by
trophies
the
and it's
BTS
hella
vocal
thick.
line Dimple.
Oh,
Finally,
Jimin,
Jimin's
that
solo
dimple.
track
It is
Serendipity.
those dimples. So many good songs.
However,
In a
Serendipity
snow globe.
emphasized intricate vocal expressions, and Jimin made new attempts, making the recording process
Ouch.
particularly complex and challenging.
지민이는 본인의 틀을 좀 깨고 싶다 그러더라고요. 약간 항상
Wanted to
지민이
break
하면
his
이제
own mold.
높은 음역대 가성이나 아니면 막
Nice.
지르고
High notes,
싸고
falsetto.
약간 막 그런 게 많이 굳어져 있는데 그런 것에서 좀 벗어나서 자기도 좀 보컬로서 한 단계 성장하고 싶다고.
Serendipity, which also means unexpected good luck,
Unexpected
showcased
good
Jimin's
luck.
unique and smooth vocal tones. It was loved by many fans and was streamed over 100 million times on Spotify. Meanwhile, through DNA, the BTS members had an unexpected experience: their American debut with the stage at the AMA. After the AMA performance, Jimin credited all their success to the fans' ARMY. However, as
Nice.
BTS achieved more, the pressure on him only increased.
오히려 AMA 갔다 와서 우리가 과도기를 너무 큰 걸 얻어서 힘든 시기를 겪게 됐잖아요. 참 갑작스럽게 큰 걸 얻어가지고.
At that time, BTS was achieving their best performance ever, with DNA and Mic Drop not only breaking records domestically, but also receiving awards at the Billboard, so they couldn't stop for even a moment. They even
There is a
said
stress
the
in
schedule
that.
for the whole year was already filled. All the
Wow.
members had been working for so long for the success of the group rather than their own happiness and satisfaction, and Jimin began to feel exhausted. He told
Jeez.
fans to always love yourself, but he himself accumulated moments of self-doubt and self-loathing. That's when
Yeah.
his struggle began.
올해 2018년으로 넘어오면서 혼자 좀 고민이 되게 많았었던 것 같다. 혼자만의 시간을 좀 가지면서 생각을 좀 많이 했었던 것 같은데 연초로 넘어오면서 2018년으로 넘어오면서 멤버들이 좀 많이 지쳐있는 상황이었고 몸도 마음도 좀 많이 지쳐있는 상황이었었는데 그래서 다 같이 좀 힘든 시간을 보냈던 것 같다. 나도 뭔가 올해로 넘어오면서 내가 왜 이 일에 이렇게 목숨 걸고 하고 있는지
Why are you putting your
그러다
life on the
보니까
line for this
좀
work?
혼자만의 시간
It's because of the army. It's because of the family that he has. It's because of a dream. It's because of his desperation and the way of his passion that drives him in his life. And it's really admirable. It's inspiring. And really, this is such a well done documentary that it just makes you love the band and the people itself even more, and army so much too, because they really, because why do you want to give your whole life to something? That's what Forsaking All is really about. It's about, are you willing to die for something you love? Because that's essentially what it is. If you love something so much, are you willing to die for it? Because dying is losing it all, you know what I mean? So that's what he's talking about right now. And in the times when things get better and better, there are more expectations, and sometimes success can be scary for people because of the expectations that come with it. And it's very lonely on the mountaintop, y'all. That it's a very isolated feeling when you're succeeding so well and nothing's doing better than you. You're at the peak and you're looking down, and that is sometimes a very lonely feeling. So especially when you're working so hard and you're hoping that you would have more people around you to have these moments of um, understanding from other people. But who else is going to understand the success of BTS? They're just destroying it. So this is extremely well done. Love it. My phone's going off. Me, 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 me.
이렇게 목숨 걸고 하고 있는지 그러다 보니까 좀 혼자만의 시간이 좀 길어졌었고 뭐 계속 스케줄을 했지만 좀 외롭다는 생각을 많이 했었던 것 같다. 내가 누구한테 이렇게 기대는 성격도 아니긴 하지만 그리고 막상 내가 의지할 수 있는 사람들이라고 생각했던 사람들이 좀 많이 힘들어하고 있는 상황이었으니까 뭘 좀 어떻게 해야 될지 모르겠는 상황이었던 것 같다.
Jimin once mentioned that the most challenging
Wow.
time for him was during the 2018 Golden Disc Awards. If you look at his face during that event, his usual bright smile was nowhere to be seen.
True.
From just his sad expression, you could guess how tough that period was for him. During the hardest times, when everyone he could lean on was struggling for their own reasons, Jimin couldn't confess to anyone how difficult it was for him. So he
Wow.
spent more time lost in thought and eventually isolated himself in a small room for a long time. Then one day, he watched a video of Young Forever, and it helped him overcome his long-standing slump.
Really?
돌아가서 우리 영상들을 많이 찾아봤었던 것 같다. 우리 음악, 우리 뮤비, 우리 공연하는 영상, 뭐 우리 사진들, 뭐 이런 것들을 옛날 거부터 좀 쭉 보다가
Young
보게 됐던
Forever.
게 Young Forever 공연하는 영상이었는데 그때는 우리가 노래를 안 부르고 있었고 팬분들만 이렇게 그 노래를 계속 불러주고
Yeah, the
있었는데
fans singing for
그걸
them.
보고 되게 많이 울었었던 것 같다. 그거 보면서.
With the contract
See,
renewal
Army.
issue looming, members were debating whether to continue together in BTS.
Wow, with the contract
Despite their
looming.
emotional exhaustion, they still had to follow their set schedule. Amidst all this, their regular third album achieved massive success. For the first time in Korean history, their third album topped the Billboard 200, and the title track Fake Love achieved 100 million
I
views
love
in just
Fake
8
Love.
days. And amidst their busy promotions with Fake Love, BTS celebrate their 5th debut anniversary. Even during this time, Jimin demonstrated his dedication to ARMYs, especially after the BTS 5th anniversary prom party events. After the stage, Jimin, drenched in sweat, looked like he was clutching his left shoulder in pain as he entered the waiting room. And later, at a gathering to take a group photo for ARMY, he managed to draw a heart above his head with trembling
Wow.
hands, possibly due to pain, while biting his lips. This
Well
was
done.
an effort on his part to avoid showing his painful condition in the photos that would be seen by ARMY. And when ARMY later discovered the behind-the-scenes video, they shed tears once again.
God.
사람들한테 별로 인간 박지민으로 보이고 싶지
He
않아.
doesn't want to be seen as the human Park Jimin.
위해서 하는 말은 아니고
Doesn't mean I want to
저들한테
distance
정말 연예인이고
myself.
싶어요.
Subsequently, BTS achieved their second Billboard 200 #1 with the repackaged album containing Idol. Definitely, the pressure on them kept increasing.
팬은 무섭다는 얘기를 많이 했었던 것 같아요. 우리는
That's so interesting. I completely understand that. I think that's what everyone kind of goes through with this social media that now has been brought onto humans, let alone what celebrity and fame already was doing to people before that. Now, when you mix them together, there is that somewhat front that you want to put on to not show people sometimes the vulnerable sides. But the coolest thing about y'all, ARMY, and even if you're here not as an ARMY and you're just a Jimin fan, the coolest thing about y'all is you want us, and ARMY and Jimin want us to show the emotions when you're experiencing this stuff with them. That's why he said, I wanted to watch all my stuff, the music videos, the live performances, and then also saw the one where the fans were singing to them and it made him cry. And that's kind of what he was looking for his catharticness, to get through the pain that he's going through, because he can't share what he's going through because other people are going through stuff. And I think that's also very mature of him to not want to throw his burdens onto other people too, and that's very respectable as well. So hopefully he feels like he has a shoulder to cry on and someone to speak to now.
대단한 사람들이 아닌데 뭔가 자꾸 업적이 생기고 하니까 부담되고 본인들 스스로가 보면 죄스럽고 그런 것들이 많이 생겼었던 것 같아요.
Despite this, at the 2018 MMA, Jimin once again showcased an outstanding performance.
Oh.
Jimin danced with the dancers while holding a fan, creating a moment where Korean traditional fan dance harmonized beautifully with hip-hop. The impact of this performance was so strong that Jimin even ranked second on Twitter's worldwide trends. And on the last day of 2018,
He is
December 31st,
trendy
his
and
first
viral
self-composed
worthy.
song, Promise, was released. During the time when he created Promise, Jimin was quite introverted and was going through a depressing period. So while making Promise, it also became a time for him to reflect on himself. In a V-Live, Jimin explained the reason he created the song Promise.
사실 제가
와우.
뭐가 힘들어서 이제 이 곡을 만들려고 했었냐면 맨 처음에 저도 이제 성격이 우유부단하고 솔직하지 못하고 약간
Inconsistent,
그런 게
not so
있어요.
honest personality.
그래서 그게 너무 싫어서 쓰게 된 곡에 왜 나는
Wow, okay.
내가 하고 싶은 말을 솔직하게 얘기를 못할까?
Because he can't say when he's struggling, then that's true, then you're not speaking truthfully.
못하니까 그게 제가 저를 보는데 너무 답답해서 만들게 되었던 곡인 것 같아요. 시티필드 콘서트를 하면서 저는 이제 공연을 하다가 생각이 든 거예요. 다짐을 하자, 약속하자 이런 생각을 하게 된 거죠. 상황이 힘들 수는 있으나 내가 나를 힘들게 하지 말자, 내가 나를 욕하지는 말자 이런 생각이
Stop
들었어요.
bad
그래서
mouthing
지금은
yourself.
키워드가 떠올랐고 이거를 좀 많은 사람들이 들었으면 좋겠다.
I know. I gotta
그거에
stop
대한
being so
의미가
hard on
있었으면
myself
좋겠다는 생각을
too.
하고 작업을 했던 것 같아요.
Through Promise, showing his sincere self,
Yeah.
Jimin seemed relieved afterward.
사실 저는 요즘 제일 행복해요. 올해로 넘어오면서 그런 게 좀 정리가 많이 됐어요.
That's cool.
멤버들한테
Hit a new
이 소리는
leaf
되게 많이
there.
들었어요. 요 근래에 너 올해 되고 나서 많이 밝아진 것 같아.
Likewise, with Jimin seemingly more settled, BTS released their mini sixth album, and once again, Jimin created a new killer part.
Iconic.
And at the UK Wembley
Dana,
Stadium,
Dana.
where BTS became
Forever
the
We Are
first
Young.
Korean artist to perform, towards the end of the concert, ARMY sang Young Forever in Korean for Jimin, bringing him to tears.
이 곡은 제가 너무 크게 위로를 받았던 곡이에요.
God. Don't you wish you'd just give him a hug?
같이 노래
Really grateful
불러주시고
for singing along with
같이
him.
즐겨주셔서 너무너무 고맙고 행복하고 사랑합니다. I'm so happy.
Then, as if to express his
God.
gratitude towards the ARMY, who've always been his comfort, Jimin prepared a gift for their 6th debut anniversary. It was a video about 2 minutes long showcasing the precious moments Jimin had with fans. And at the end of the video, he displayed the message, "I will never forget the moments spent with fans, touching many armies." Meanwhile, Jimin was once asked how he overcomes the pressure to be perfect given their global fame. And Jimin replied, "I believe we have to present a performance that's at least close to perfection for those who come to see our show." True to his words, Jimin delivered an astonishing performance at 2019 MMA. With no flashy props or setups, Jimin started a solo dance resembling a butterfly to a beautiful melody. It was the
Wow.
perfect
Oh
moment to
my.
describe it as dance like Jimin, rather than just saying he dances well. And during this time, the world faced a major issue, the pandemic. It was the first time since their debut that the members faced such a challenging period, but Jimin seemed to struggle especially. However, even amidst this pandemic, BTS released their 4th regular album, the duet song Friends, created by Jimin and V, who have built their friendship for 7 years since their trainee days. Among the various tracks, there was a song where Jimin showcased his expertise the best, Black Swan. Actually, Jimin remarked, "When I first received the choreography outline, I loved it the most. It gave a new feeling we hadn't danced to before, which excited me." Meanwhile, amidst all this, there were scenes captured during the Black Swan choreography practice that showed how much Jimin had practiced as his legs trembled, leaving many people feeling concerned. And Jimin, who always ponders what fans would love, expressed this mindset in the solo song Filter. The solo song Filter, which stood out for its sentimental voice and unique expressiveness, received tremendous love, and by 2023, it surpassed 400 million streams on Spotify. And 6 months later, wishing to give strength to everyone weary from the pandemic, BTS presented a slightly different style of music, which was Dynamite.
Completely different. See, like, and that's the coolest thing about BTS, and honestly, the influence that they get from every single member here. What you see, the influence that you're getting a lot from the Jimin side here, honestly, is the contemporary. I think that is the thing that is the most mesmerizing for what is shocking the fans the most. If you can see, like, that butterfly song that he's moving so effortlessly, that one really stands out for me on the one that would love to check out for Jimin, and y'all should let me know if I should in the comments too. But then you go and contrast it here to Dynamite, what they did, and it's like not very contemporary, and it's very poppy and um, even hip hop too, right? So it's just you get all the genres mixed with it, and you can see why this band is just so incredible, and what they did even in challenging times like the pandemic to put out one of the biggest hits ever too. It's just like wow.
A slightly different style of music, which was Dynamite.
Yeah.
Through Dynamite, BTS became the first Korean artist to rank #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The song was released not for accolades, but in hopes of being a small comfort to someone during tough times. So, Jimin was greatly surprised by this unexpected achievement.
처음에는 그 소식을 좀 늦게 들었어가지고 그때 형이 몇 시에 알려줬었죠?
제가 3시 한 20분인가 반인가.
제가 4시 넘어서 그걸 들었었는데 4시부터 해가지고 아침 7시가 될 때까지 울다가
From 4 to
지쳐가지고
7.
이제 잠이 들었는데 소파에서
And then so
Later, during the online
I fell
concert,
asleep.
even though it was virtual, BTS unexpectedly saw fans' faces in real time, leading Jimin to shed tears again.
이렇게라도 항상 응원해주고 기다려주시는 아미 여러분들 너무 감사합니다.
For the members of BTS, including Jimin, who considered creating songs for their fans and seeing their fans' happiness as their mission, the reality they faced due to COVID-19 was truly painful. However, even if they couldn't meet directly, BTS began preparing an album for the armies waiting for them, which was the B album. The song Life Goes On carries a message of comfort, stating that life continues despite encountering unwanted circumstances.
Yes, it does. Life goes on.
At the 2020 Mama, BTS performed on the massive stage of the empty Seoul Olympic Stadium for their On performance. In an
Wow.
interview about how they managed such a passionate performance in a completely empty stadium, he
Yeah.
answered, "In this difficult situation, there are people who continue to support us. I think we have to give them a reason to support us. We wanted to make our fans miss us and provide them with reasons to enjoy when they see us." Subsequently, Jimin prepared another gift for the armies. In these hard times due to the pandemic, I hope listeners can momentarily return to the beautiful moments of the past, he said, unveiling his self-composed song Christmas Love to commemorate Christmas.
Nice.
Concluding the challenging
Santa
year of
Jimin.
2020,
Oh my god. They are just so special. I can't believe it, y'all. I've never heard a band or a individual like Park Jimin talk about how much they're addicted to the interaction with their fans and the love and support that they get from them. That's really what he was missing and struggling the most with the pandemic here. And honestly, a true stage performer for me, I like WWE wrestling, and it was one of the only things that actually remained performing during the pandemic. A lot of sports stopped, and I love my sports. So to know that they went onto a stadium, a sport, and went and performed there with no one in the crowd, but still was able to bring in that full emotion like a live performance, have the energy, even though they don't have the actual energy from a live crowd. That is next level performance. And that's really what separates the wheat from the chaff, to be honest, y'all. So I'm just astonished with how much pride you should have as an army, to be honest, because really without the army they maybe would have given up a few times by now. So awesome for you guys to give them the support when they've needed it.
he sent a truly Jimin-like New Year greeting with a small wish.
여러분들은 어땠을지 뭔가 한 분 한 분 얘기를 다 하고 싶은데 못해서 너무 미안하고 너무 고생 많으셨고 21년이 되면은 딱 한 번 여러분과 만나서 같이 공연하고 싶다가 제 목표가 될 것 같습니다.
Following
We're
that,
good.
after receiving immense love for Dynamite, BTS continuously released new songs. The song Butter, that reclaimed the nickname 111 Jimin.
1-1 Jimin.
Then came the consecutively released Permission to Dance. With Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance, BTS, who were highly active during the pandemic era, eventually became the first Asian artist to win the 2021
Smart
American
time
Music
to
Awards Grand
remain
Prize.
active.
And in November 2021, BTS held a meeting with ARMYs for the first time in a whopping 2 years.
Wow.
It was the 2021 LA concert. For Jimin, who had struggled more than anyone during the pandemic because he couldn't properly present the music and performances that were as vital as the meaning of life to ARMY, this event was more special than for anyone else.
어제 느낀 거는 여러분들이 2년 동안 여러분들한테 사실 그렇게 잘 해왔다고 생각은 안 드는 것 같아요. 근데 그동안 계속 이렇게 기다려주셨다는 게 너무나 영광이고 감동스러웠고 진짜 감사합니다.
He wishes he could have done more, though he did a lot with this music for us.
항상 감사하고 사랑하고 사랑해.
God.
And Jimin participated in the original soundtrack for the first time after his debut, which was the original soundtrack with You for the drama Our Blues. However, after Jimin's release of With You, BTS made a significant announcement, which was the temporary suspension of the group's activities. Having run tirelessly for 9 years, it was a necessary decision for them all, but undoubtedly, the members making that announcement must have had their hearts torn apart.
Wow.
지금에 와서야 저희가 어떠한 가수로 팬분들한테 남고 싶냐는 생각을 이제 하게 돼서 지금 좀 힘든 시간을 겪고 있는 것 같아요. 이제 정체성을 이제서야 더 찾아가려고 하는
Finding
시기인 것
our
같아요.
identity right
그래서
now.
좀 지치는 게 있고 시간이 좀 걸리는 게 아닌가.
After this announcement, Jimin gradually started his solo activities.
Wow, so is this a moment that so what, it's not just the pandemic, but then trying to find yourself in that identity and that existential isolation that everyone was really feeling in that time. I think that's also why just a lot of people moved to it. It was just because people got down to places that maybe they never could have went to without that isolation, because as you get deep, if you keep going down deep, you'll find the answers that you're looking for, and that's finding your identity was what they're suggesting here. So if all of them went to find their identity, that's why you're seeing so much of their solo work come after 2021, outside of their solo work in the albums, right? So it makes a lot of sense, and you can just see them growing all individually as human beings and as men too, and it's really cool to see because you can see it both physically but mentally as well. They're just so mature. And it's so cool that they're all my age or younger. It's just like mind-blowing to see them taking over the world, and they're in their 30s.
His first move was participating in the new song Vibe by Taeyang, whom he had admired since he was young. It was the moment when Jimin, who once mentioned Big Bang's Taeyang as his role model during their debut showcase, finally realized his dream of sharing the stage with him. After Vibe, Jimin went on to release his first solo album, Face, and there was a good reason behind the making of this album. Jimin had a period of wandering for about a year and a half, burdened by the immense love he received, the pressure of individual success apart from the team success, and the pandemic. Days of drinking and getting drunk without doing anything continued, and as the days of lethargy piled up, so did the fear and worries. You can tell from a line in the lyrics of the song Alone, released afterwards. When I fell asleep drunk, not remembering any of it, thought about it, what am I doing right now? But at that time, the members suggested that he should try expressing those feelings through music.
자존감도 좀
See,
낮아져.
now that's the hidden dark side in someone who has a lot of smiles and only wants to be known as that celebrity to his fans. Then you can see that person want to be drowned in that alcohol, and alcohol is that dangerous drug that can take over people that want to have that short-term gratification and to not have to think about it. That's interesting. I didn't know Jimin struggled a lot with that. At least at that time, I don't know if he still struggles with it at all too, but interesting and really powerful that he put that through in a song too, and that's another song I love to see as well.
좀 그런 상태였던 것 같아요. 그런 상태로 이제 멤버들이 노래 한번 만들어봤으면 좋겠다 해서 이제 시작된 앨범이고.
So, like other members who have expressed their darker sides in personal mixtapes, Jimin also began preparations to show his unseen side. Of course, it was difficult to work all by himself without the members, but among those tasks, writing the lyrics was particularly challenging.
Being the
Writing lyrics,
lyricist.
especially in a way that resonates, and the thought of sharing those lyrics with people weighed heavily on him.
제가 이번에 앨범 내는 거 포함해서 모든 활동 중에 제일 떨려요.
야, 너 10년을 음악 방송을 했는데 떨린다고?
진짜 사실 걱정돼 죽겠고 너무 떨려. 그리고 혼자서 팬들 만나잖아요. 긴장돼 죽겠네.
Me and the
But what
fans
tormented
alone.
him wasn't just the
Hey,
lyrics.
take it from me right now, Jimin and Army and Chronicans watching. Y'all are also used to seeing Alana here at the reactions. I know there are many moments here that Alana would have even been really, really great for some of these emotionally charged moments, but as we are a family, we have certain things to do and certain time and certain babysitting. So that's why I'm here now, and it's like a solo work outside of the BTS or Enter the Chronic with Alana. So it's like I can understand being in front of the camera or seeing the fans and that different responsibility and how to carry that. It's I could definitely understand. Like Suga says, like you've been doing this for 10 years. Come on, man. It's like yeah, I've been doing it for 10 years with you, not by myself. So shows the power and what a good team can do for you too.
For his solo activities, Jimin went on a diet,
Another
maintaining his
diet.
weight in the 50-kilogram range. And the high-intensity
We use
choreography
pounds.
for his performance also took a toll, especially for the song Set Me Free. After days of continuous practice, he even remarked that he felt like his body was almost breaking.
부서질 것 같습니다.
Body's
After a lot
falling
of hard
apart,
work and
Roth.
taking nearly 10 months in production, Jimin's first solo album Face was finally released. Starting with the first track Face Off, where he honestly wrote lyrics to the extent of feeling like he was bearing his soul, Jimin showcases a completely new side of himself. The song
Wow.
Alone, which describes the loneliness he felt when he saw other members working hard during his slump.
매번 괜찮은 척하는 내 모습이 심하게 느껴져. 괜찮다 했었지만 점점 날
Dear Army, a hidden track where he wrote down everything he wanted to say to his fans in a letter
Wow.
when BTS announced their temporary hiatus, and then turned those words into lyrics. The song Set Me Free
Dear
Part
Army.
2, which embodies his
Wow.
determination to overcome tough times.
Wow. He's got like the lyrics on his body.
The song Like Crazy, which encompasses the sadness and memories from his time of struggle.
Wow, his solo work is a lot more versatile than I thought it'd be. Oh!
And astonishingly,
Oh, that had like the weekend vibe to it, didn't it? Oh man, I want to see that one. Like crazy? Oh man. I already like feel like I know it. It's so
astonishingly,
good.
Jimin achieves the record of being the first Korean solo artist to rank #1 on the Billboard singles chart with Like Crazy.
I bet.
무슨 말을 해야 될지 모르겠지만 여러분들 사실 다
Look what it just did to me.
가능한 거고 아미 여러분들이 있으니까 가능한 거고 그거를
Army,
절대
you
문제
are
없습니다.
incredible.
저는 연락 받았을 때 아미 여러분들이 방탄 얼마나 기다려주고
How much they've been waiting for
계신지
BTS.
느끼는 그게 제일 컸던 것 같아요. 그래서 너무 감사드리고
I'm so thankful. He sure is.
네, 고마워요.
However,
No
the joy of
forced
reaching
emotions,
Billboard
just
#1 was
realness.
short-lived, as he soon faced unprecedented challenges he had never experienced before. It started with a sudden drop in the Billboard ranking. When Like Crazy dropped from 1st to 45th place on the Billboard Hot 100 within a week, foreign media began to report it as the biggest drop in Billboard history. In response, ARMY
Rough.
claimed on various social media channels that Billboard suddenly changed its chart calculation method, causing the sharp drop, demanding an explanation from Billboard, leading to a controversy. However, the next challenge Jimin faced was even more significant. The incident
Interesting.
occurred during the encore performance after Jimin won first place on a Korean
The
music show.
conspiracy.
At the time, Jimin's live performance was notably unstable. Typically, Korean music YouTube channels upload the first place encore cam stage, but they chose not to upload Jimin's controversial performance, exacerbating the issue. There was speculation
Really?
about in-ear monitor issues due to scenes in the video where Jimin kept touching them, but the exact situation was unclear, and public criticism and mockery escalated as it became linked to the title of Billboard's #1.
Yeah,
Like this,
he
in
looks
just
flat
about a week,
there.
Jimin experienced both the greatest honor of reaching the Billboard #1 and the worst crisis of a live
Yeah.
performance controversy with the song Like Crazy as he celebrated BTS's 10th anniversary since their debut. Jimin, who had been self-critical and resentful
That
of
must
his
have been
own
a tough time.
shortcomings since
Oh my
debut, must
gosh.
have found that incident especially difficult,
No
as it occurred
kidding.
just before the 10th anniversary of their debut.
Rough.
However, it took Jimin a whopping 6 months to finally explain the situation at the time, leaving everyone in shock.
3월에 솔로 활동을 해보고
Y'all, like, I totally understand. I've only been on this channel for probably less than 3 years going hard with the reactions. So y'all have been seeing BTS reactions for only a couple months. So I've been doing this for a long time, and you can feel like a pro after thousands of videos, but there's still many times I'll screw up the mic, I'll screw up the camera, I'll screw up the recording itself, forget to even hit the record button. Then you gotta try to say it all off the hip again. And it's definitely tough. So I can be very critical on myself too. So to know when you get to the 10-year mark with this band, you don't want to still be making some of these hiccups. And it's a blessing and a curse to have that type of a standard for yourself. But with the blessing in it is without that standard, you don't have BTS. So you kind of have to take the good and the bad with that one if you do want to have that ultimate success. Because again, it's lonely on the top.
The situation at the time, leaving everyone in shock.
3월에 솔로 활동을 해보고 느낀 것들이 참 많았습니다. 현실적으로
Can't have any bad nights.
너무
No bad days.
부족하구나. 이래가지고는 안 되겠다 이런 생각을 많이 해서 부끄럽다는 생각을 많이 했고, 그래서 뭐 긴장이고 기회 문제고 이런 것들이 아니라 그냥 부족한 게 맞고, 그런 것들을 보완이 아니라 아예 새로 좀 처음부터 좀 다시 해보고 싶어서
Start new from scratch.
그냥 다 핑계고 깨알러 터졌고, 그래서 뭐 그런 시간을 좀 가지고 있었고, 뭐 곡 작업도 해보고 연습을 처음부터 다시 하면서 느끼는 것들이 참 많습니다. 왜 뭐 그런 것들을 냉정하게 파악을 하고, 그래도 어떻게
Start with
하겠어요?
his fundamentals.
좌절할 수도 없고 멈춰 있을 수도 없고 해봐야죠. 처음부터 다시 해보고
Was it bringing the
당당하게
oomph?
여러분들한테 무언가 나의 공연들을 보여줄 수 있게 제가 더 바뀌어서 오고 싶어서 혼자서 좀 열심히 좀 하고 있었습니다. 문제점들이 하나하나 짚으니까 정말 너무 많더라고요. 네, 그런 것들을 좀 딛고 이겨내려고 노력을 많이 하고 있었고,
Most celebrities usually avoid mentioning sensitive or delicate issues about themselves and just move on, which would have been more comfortable for him.
Yeah.
However, Jimin was not like that. Even after a decade since debut, he critically assessed himself, vowing to work hard to have a happy 30s with his fans. In response, armies who worry about Jimin being endlessly generous to others, but too harsh on himself, and even non-armies admired his direct approach, saying his
Yeah.
straightforwardness is truly remarkable.
It's truly
Consequently,
remarkable.
he received many supportive messages. Jimin, who works harder than anyone and always strives for perfection, still criticizes himself as lazy and inadequate. However, he will continue to practice relentlessly and put in effort
Imagine
today,
the day when he
tomorrow,
doesn't think
and
he's
in the
lazy.
future. Therefore, to Jimin, the word effort seems to have a different meaning. When asked what he thinks about effort, he once said, "I want to show the power of effort. I want to show what happens when someone works hard on one thing. When you persist in one thing, it's
Yeah.
about showing that eventually this can happen."
Master
Of course,
something.
I'm confident that he will undoubtedly reach beyond what Human Park Jimin aspires to, just as he said. However, along with this, I hope he doesn't treat himself too harshly in the process, because he's already doing incredibly well. In 2016, RM
Looks
once
good
sent
in
a
Dwar.
message for Jimin to commemorate the new year. However, it seems that this statement from almost 8 years ago still applies to Jimin.
지민아, 너는 네가 드디어 데뷔 전에 얻고 싶어하던 그 멋을 얻지 않았나 싶고 조금 덜 너를 채찍질하면서 편하게 지금처럼 열심히 하면 될 것 같아. 파이팅!
Just relax a
Whenever he's asked
bit.
about his abilities, he always answers, "I still have a long way to go." And because he thinks of the armies more than anyone else, fans often say about Jimin, "Once you Jim in, you can't Jim out."
Yeah, once
I
you Jim in,
appreciate
you can't
watching the
Jim
video
out.
of Jimin, who can be called a genius if effort is a talent, up until now. And with Jimin's final message to all of you, we conclude this long video. And lastly, our team members who worked hard for about
Well
3 months
done.
to create this Jimin video for
Wow.
you would be truly overjoyed if you subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
행복하셨으면
You got that.
좋겠어요. 저희를 보면서
Throw the subscribe their way.
저희 춤 보고 하면서 기쁘면 그걸로 된 것 같아요.
There's so many things that you want to just dive in from this documentary for just Jimin and BTS.
그냥 저희만큼 저희보다 더 행복했으면 좋겠어요. 그런 걸 생각을 하면서 공연을 하는 것 같아요. 저는 지금
이 사람들이 다 지금 이 순간에 여기 온 이 사람들이 다 행복했으면 좋겠다. 그 생각 하나로 하는 것 같아요.
Wow, and they have a bunch of other documentaries for the other boys, or should I say men. Wow. What is just so cool is thinking about just the journey with BTS and Jimin specifically right now. Um, Never knew BTS coming in late to the game. Only, like I said, it's been a few months now since checking them out, and after seeing their work as a band, then getting to see all the band members individually, getting mesmerized by who with Jimin, and then getting just to see the Jimin effect. So like the side of every single creature on this planet getting infatuated and mesmerized by Jimin and his just magic of everything he does, to be honest. But then you can see the growth of the inside Shadow then turning into just his full self. And like he fully evolved in this documentary from the start to the finish. And it was so well done. It allowed you to really get a nice timeline to really see where he's at now and to what message he's trying to push right now. Because it's really important to know where people's heads were at when they were making these songs, because it really does put in a lot of more meaning to the full experience and to see when these albums were coming out coinciding with it as well. And just seeing all these jaw dropping moments that Jimin got to have, these legendary, iconic dances, really, that's what I was seeing was taking over the most. Obviously, incredible singing as well, but I think his ultimate talent he has is his contemporary dancing. Um, Honestly, some of his other ones, that one was like, whoa. I don't know what you would call that, if that's like hip hop or something like that, but again, just incredible at the dancing. Obviously, his look is impeccable. His charm is just phenomenal. He's the member that goes the most to try to support the army, and I think that's awesome being part of the army as a baby army, according to y'all now. So I think that's just this is just a well done documentary, and you can't see it on the screen here, but we're hitting the subscribe button right now and I'll throw it up just so y'all see it. You see, you can see the subscribe now. You can even join them, and they have memberships too. And I think if they're putting out stuff like this, that is definitely a channel worth supporting too. And if y'all want to keep supporting us, a really awesome way to do it is going to just hitting the like button. It's free, it's easy. Going to the comments and letting me know what you found interesting from this documentary, if there was something you forgot about it, or if there's other documentaries that I should be checking out for Jimin and or BTS. Let me know in the comments below too. Subscribe if you are new, but also you can jump to our Patreon where we have a lot of things going on there. Right now we have a poll for the next song for BTS coming on the channel. We also have early releases on there, a day early compared to when it comes on YouTube. But again, no pressure because it comes onto YouTube anyway. So it's not like you're missing anything. It's just you get to see some things early. And if anything gets blocked, it goes there too. Because we're also going to be trying to do some documentaries that probably are going to get blocked because there are some things that are owned by Disney. If you got Disney Plus, if you know what I'm trying to hint there. But speaking of this one, perfectly well done. I feel like I know Jimin even better now too, and not just the Jimin effect side, because the Jimin effect is a real thing, but knowing him just as a person, as Park Jimin, as he says he wouldn't want you to know him, he does want you to know. What he means by that is he wishes he could be that star power for you all the time to help motivate you in your times of need. Because look how sad he was when he felt like he didn't have anyone to talk to close to him. So I know he's definitely someone that would want all the army members to be talking all the time too. So definitely support this by sending this as well. Share it to some of the other army that maybe haven't checked out EnterTheCronic. Yeah, I know that would mean a lot to us too. But we are now exiting the rabbit hole, folks. Stay tuned for some more Jimin and BTS next time. Okay, peace out. God bless y'all.